another edition of Let's See What Happens. That's what I think I'm going to call this from now on. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes out my mouth. This is Tina. Welcome, welcome. And this, as always, is the news that didn't make the news. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I don't know what kind of a day anyone had yesterday, but for me, and I know we had an X-class flare. I could feel it yesterday. I had to look it up this morning. But the X-class solar flares normally, to me, feel like an energetic speed up of the inside of the body, at least for a couple hours before you kind of drop into lethargy or starvation or what other energy seems to come through after that point. But yesterday was the complete and total opposite of how that energy normally affects me. I was at a friend's house and I felt like I had been there for 6 hours, and I looked at the clock and I hadn't even been there 3 hours, and I just couldn't believe it. It felt like I had literally been there all day. I've never felt time move so slowly. So the energy of what's out there beyond our own sphere of feeling on this planet, when things rush in from the sun or other energies rush in, they bring with them whatever they are holding. So when you're talking about an intense energy like that coming into the planet, it's like it burst in here with all the energy that surrounded the sun. And this time it was just really super slow. It felt like the day the earth stood still to me almost. And so that made for a really, really interesting day. Sorry, I'm putting my face all up in your camera. I can't see you. Now my comments are on, and they will probably only stay on for 5 seconds. So as soon as I said that, they're gone. So hello to the 5 people that are here. As soon as I look down at your names, they are gone. Today I'm going to talk about whatever randomly comes up for me because when I allow myself to do that unprepared thing, I normally am able to help myself and all of you more than I can when I seem to write it out, unless I'm going after a specific set of knowledge. Then I do better that way. But I'm an open channel. I am an open conduit for whatever energy is here in the moment. And so that's how I would like this expression to come through. In the interim moment, I'm going to give a couple minutes for people, a couple more people to get on, if that so happens to be. I want to talk about what I've been talking about, what I made an entire video about, which was the flora and fauna situation we have on our planet. Since I made that video, which I think has been less than a week from now, I've seen some more incredible things. We have some kind of deciduous tree that is, for the life of me, I can't remember it, even though I had one in my living room here for quite a while. It was actually bigger than me, and I took it outside to be in the sun, and it's doing amazing. But some kind of deciduous in the evergreen family, even though it doesn't look anything like it. When I was walking around a couple months ago, I noticed that there was an apartment building that had planted them as kind of like the barrier or a nice decoration on the perimeter of their property. So there's a lot of them in Northside where I live. But today I saw one that had made this huge type of rusty red kind of configuration that almost looked like a coxcomb or something like that. Real fuzzy. It wasn't a flower. It was, as long as I've been doing this, I'm honestly not sure what to call it. but just this really beautiful bloom or extension of its normal self. And mine has not done that, but my plant is actually as old as me, so who knows what it'll do when it's planted in the ground. So that was really one really fascinating thing. Another is there is a tree called northern magnolia, which people tend to think of magnolias like in the south and the southern states, which have a ton of magnolias, and there are hundreds and hundreds of kinds of magnolias. But in Cincinnati, we have two kind. We have one that's called evergreen because the leaves stay dark green all year, and then June, July, and August it produces these giant white, terrific smelling blooms on it. The other kind that we have is called a northern magnolia. So it loses every leaf in the fall. In the winter, it looks like just like a little stick figure of a tree. And then in the spring, around April, it gets totally covered with white or pink or lavender blooms. I'm sure you all have seen them before, maybe just are not familiar with the name of them. But anyway, this northern magnolia in April starts to just bloom. It looks like something just straight out of a fairy tale. It is unbelievably beautiful. It only blooms for 3 or 4 weeks and it drops all of its blooms on the ground and looks like this beautiful puddle of amazing just color all over the city. It's very, very, very beautiful. And then as soon as it drops its blooms, then it starts to get green leaves on it. So it's drops all its leaves in fall. It gets blooms in the spring, all the blooms fall off of it, and then the leaves come out, and then it's done. So our magnolias all completely bloomed out here, actually a little bit before April was even over, and they started getting leaves on them. Now, this just happened since I made the last video about the unknown ash tree that was now flowering, that has never ever flowered in the state of Ohio for as long as I've lived here. The northern magnolia is now blooming a second time. It's got hundreds of thousands of blooms all over it, and some of them are just starting to open. So of course I looked it up to see if that's something that it does, and nowhere could I find. I'm having a really hard time finding information on all the tree stuff that I'm looking for. I don't know if you guys are in love with the trees like me, but I've been talking to the trees and watching the trees and touching the trees for many, many decades. So it's something that's very, very close to my heart. And it's not just the beauty and what's going on, but it's also, to me, why is it happening? Because as we know, we're getting DNA upgrades, we're getting downloads, our DNA is changing, but also it's happening sentient life wide. It's not just the human being, right? But the plants and the trees assimilate so much easier because they don't have that logical part of the brain that says, I'm not supposed to bloom right now, or I'm not supposed to have leaves right now. They're just doing whatever. So they're assimilating to this new energy of the biosphere. If you've been following me for a while, this is something I started talking about in 2018. Now, I will tell you at this point, I'm not sure of the actual shape, configuration, or what's going on with the planet Earth in general. But in 2018, I started seeing that the energy was coming from the sun as the male energy or Apollo energy. It was going straight to Mother Earth as the magnetic pool. And then it was coming back out of the crystalline center of the Earth. And as it rose up, everything in the biosphere was altering as this energy rose out. Now, the more we have this and the faster this new energy comes in from the sun and the movement of other celestial bodies and also other energetic systems that are moving through the cosmos and filtering in down towards the earth, Also combining with it the moon energy and the nodal points and all things that are going on there as well. Again, straight from the sun as the male energy to the magnetic female. And then as it's coming back out of the crystalline core, it comes up and it alters the biosphere. And nature is assimilating to this so much more gracefully, almost like it has the knowledge within its DNA, and I would say that it does, that it knows that there is some sort of cyclical change going on, and it is just automatically, without logic, just adapting to that and producing new things. So if you're interested in it like me, check out what's going on with your neighborhood, trees. Absolutely just fascinating to me as someone who has been watching the trees for such a long time. With the energy coming into the planet and going directly to the core and then kind of radiating back out is the way I see it, is what it looks like to me. It's almost like radiation coming from this core. And there is a template for all of humanity and all of sentient life stored in that core. So when the energy comes from the sun to the core and it then vibrates back out, it is bringing with it whatever template it has in its not only life cycle, but the life cycle that includes all the cycles that we're not aware of or that may not be written down. But again, nature is doing it so much easier and so much more graceful than we are, because there's not a brain to actually think about how that's working. So if we allow ourselves to just kind of meld into that energy as well and not use so much logic, it will definitely help us. And that means making decisions based on intuition. It means doing things that do not seem logical. It means resting sometimes, or going to bed 4 hours before you normally would. I am kind of the best I can doing exactly what my body tells me to do in the moment that it tells me to do it. And if you have that luxury of really listening to yourself, that really, really helps us to assimilate to the energy. The now energy that started pouring in yesterday, it's like the standstill of time, but it was also full of movement. So there's a huge amount of movement going on. And this energy is very, very, very unstable. And when I say unstable, it's unstable in the fact that it's neutral. So it's a very strong energy, but it's not necessarily a positive energy or a negative energy. It is a what you do with it energy, if you will. So the instability of the energy that's coming in is actually a good thing. And you may walk from one room to another and not have any idea what you're doing. You may feel prompted to call someone you haven't talked to in 10 years and question yourself why. The energy, again, totally unstable. But the great thing about unstable energy is that unstable energy is mutable. So it's easier to work with than any other energy. And the best way to maneuver yourself in this is to listen to yourself. What is driving our life? What is driving our life force? And what is changing our direction right now is only three things. One, our imagination. Whatever you can imagine, you can achieve, but you need all three of these things. The first is imagination. People tell you don't dream, don't waste your life dreaming. But imagination is a huge part of creation, because how can we create something that we can't even imagine? So the first important thing is imagination. The second thing is using your intuition. And just, this seems silly to even say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. What does it mean? What does the word intuition mean? Intuition means your body, or the energy that is around your body, is sending you words, messages, feelings, gut reactions, whatever it is. So intuition means you are receiving something. And if you maneuver by that intuition, everything goes more smoothly for you, and everything also goes a lot faster for you. So intuition is a feeling, and that feeling carries with it information. The reason that we have to get out of our head and into our intuition is because this wisdom will pour into you so fast when you listen to your intuition. But if you stop and think about it, it won't make any logical sense. Because the thing about intuition is there is no logic to be found. So if you're trying to reason with yourself, like, this doesn't make any sense to me, why would I logically follow something that doesn't make any sense to my logical mind? I'll give you an example. I thought before when I was leaving somewhere, I should really take my phone charger with me, for example. And then I talked myself out of it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a smart person. My phone's fully charged. I'm only going to be gone for 3 hours. Why would I need it? And so I left my phone charger here. But there ended up being an emergency. I had to end up staying the night where I was, and I had no phone charger. So those stupid little things that I've gone around and around about, silly things. And intuition will even give you silly things like carry your charger, take your toothbrush, call this person you haven't talked to for a while, whatever that is. I discovered solely by not listening to those intuitive hits that those small, mundane, intuitive hits were very important. And every time I listened to those small, mundane, intuitive hits, I was telling my body and my soul that I trust myself completely. And the more I listened to that intuition, the more intuition I got. So first of all, use your imagination for the beauty and the reality and the life you want to create. Second of all, listen to your intuition, that gut feeling that carries zero logic, because it will carry you there 10 times faster than any logical plan on paper. And the third thing is to take action. So when you take action, you show the universe, or you're showing yourself, or this universal force of energy, that I am taking action in that direction. So you could kind of equate that to really anything in your life. Like, let's say you want to go to college right now, but you don't have the money to go to college. Does that mean you shouldn't do anything? Because anything that you're doing that is in the direction of college will put you in the direction of college faster. So if you want to go to college and don't have the money, you can be reading college preparatory books. You can be looking at colleges online. You can order the books that they are using. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. But whatever you do in the direction of what you wish to create will send that message, and putting that energy out there that I just want to go in this direction will bring to fruition things really, really fast, like you wouldn't even expect it. Now, for me, there's a certain thing that I want to do. I love to communicate. I want to assist humanity in the unification and all these beautiful projects that we have that we're starting to work on now and that are coming. I don't know exactly in the end what I'm going to be doing, who I'm going to be working with, what network it's going to be, or what channel I'll even be on. But see, that doesn't matter, because in my imagination, I know that's what I'm doing. In my intuition, I see and feel and hear that's what's coming. So in my everyday life, I'm taking the steps that I can take right now. And that is writing down my intuitive hits, writing down the wisdom that comes to me from cosmic energy. And then I get on here and share it with you because that pushes my energy in the direction which I am creating now. So I'm creating now a bridge and a push of my energy into the direction I know. Now, the thing about that is it goes right back to trusting your intuition, because you're pushing or moving yourself in the direction of your dreams, but you don't even know how it's going to work. You don't even know where it's going to go. You don't know anything. All you know is using your imagination, listening to your intuition, and taking some sort of action, whatever that is, in the direction of where you want to be and into the direction of what you wish to create. And that is the fastest way for us to get there. Now, I can't say all that without bringing this to your attention. This is a great time of cycles ending, of very challenging things coming to an end. And our tendency as human beings is to go into that logical brain and say, well, I don't want to do this because this hasn't happened yet, or I want to wait for this until this thing happens. But that actual process in your logical mind, again, is slowing you down, because when you know something is over, you cannot physically give any more energy to it. So when do you continue to put energy into something that no longer satisfies you, that no longer fulfills you? Okay, it becomes a drain on your energy. And then at some point, that drain on your energy will stop being, it will stop being a drain on your energy, and it will become worse than a drain on your energy. You will just start to feel like, I just can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Why am I still doing this? Why am I still doing this? Whatever it is in your life that is causing you to ask yourself, why am I still doing this? Why am I still pursuing this? Because if it's out of fear, when you step out of that energy where you no longer want to be, your energy field clears of all that stagnation and catapults you into other directions. I know this can be a really hard thing, especially for women. And it's funny, almost every single one of my friends, like me, is single and not settling for anything less than beautiful and spectacular. But for women, it's really, really hard to think about leaving a situation that is not fulfilling because of the financial aspect. So regardless of your gender or what it happens to be that you might be stuck in at the end of this cycle, just know this. You may have put energy into trying to change jobs, or hopping on to another mission, or meeting people that you can collaborate, all these things, and putting energy into that. And that will yield something. But here's what I want you to know. While you're keeping yourself stuck in something that's keeping your energy stagnant, that energy, let's say it's a relationship. So that energy of you staying in something that is draining you, that is demanding, that's just, even if it's just something that's just not you, it's not where you are, it's not where you're going, it's not how you see yourself in the future, it's not the kind of relationship you know you came here to have. That is very much going to affect how you are able to network with people. That's going to affect whether you get that job when you interview. It's going to affect everything. So women especially tend to think, oh, if I stay in this and then find a way outside of this relationship to stabilize myself before I make a move. But what I want you to know is it actually works the other way. When you cut the energy off from that person, place, or thing that is draining your energy, that's when you move into a completely different direction. And so, for example, if it is your relationship that's holding your energy stagnant or holding you back from the life that you dream of, okay? By ending that relationship, those collaborations come about, those job offers come about, that interview ends up you being a job. But just so you know, the human brain always wants to think logically and think, I must set something up over here before I leave this thing over here. And so I just want you to know that it actually works the opposite. You ever known anybody, and I've done this maybe only once or twice in my entire life, just got so pissed off and so fed up with bureaucracy in a place that I worked that I just walked out. And I was terrified, like, oh my God, I don't have anyone to help me. I don't have anyone to borrow money from. I don't have anything to rely on. Oh my God, I can't believe that I just did that, even though, man, does it feel so freaking amazing to just say F you, I don't let people take advantage of you. And that was the thing. I walked out so I could disallow them taking advantage of my good heart, my good work ethic, the fact that I never called in sick. And I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm done. And I walked out. And then I went into panic. Oh my God, how could I do this? But the two times in my life that actually happened to me in the 37 years that I've been working, both times, immediately I got a job. And I got a job that was more what I wanted to do. So even though it's scary to leave one thing behind without having something else or something else to fall back on, your energy, when your energy says like sayonara or just, bye-bye, F you to a situation that is draining your energy, that is not where you want to be and where you want to go and how you want to live. When you immediately cut that out, like I did walking out of the job, everything changed. And people were, I wasn't out of work for like, I think maybe 24 hours. And people just started calling me saying, oh, I heard you don't work at so-and-so anymore. Do you want to come and interview here? I didn't work on my resume. I didn't apply anywhere. My phone just started ringing. So just trust your intuition. Whatever is making your energy stagnant in your life, in any part of your life, is really controlling all other parts of your life. It's controlling your health. It's controlling your abundance. It's controlling everything. So that's something that I wanted to share with you. Ending cycles. When you know it's over, let the fat lady sing, as they say. When it's over, let it be over. Take it for what it is and put your energy into something that is what you want. We didn't come here to be stuck in our logical brain and try to figure everything out in our brain that was going to happen to us, because I've realized that by following the intuition, things happen so much more gracefully, so much more in a sped up trajectory, and it ends up being better for where I'm going in the long run as well. I don't want to make this a super long video. The next thing I want to share with you is, again, the energy is very, very unknown, and that makes it feel a little bit scary, like maybe you're going to bungee jump or skydive or do something that I would be personally terrified to do because I'm terrified of heights. But the energy is a real unknown. So what happens a lot of times when we get an unknown energy, I will notice that people around me, my neighbors, people in the grocery store, will start acting like, oh my God, oh my, it's almost, the feeling of unknown energy makes people feel like the shoe is about to drop. Or they could say, oh, it feels like it might be my intuition that something bad is going to happen. But your intuition is not there to tell you when something bad is going to happen. Your intuition is there to guide you in a positive direction always. But with this energy feeling very, very unknown, just know it's because the energy itself is the energy of the unknown, because there are so many shifts and so many changes and so many magnificent things that are turning literally upside down on their head in this world right now, that energy of the unknown. And I know it can feel like, oh my God, what's about to happen? Yesterday, all day, I kept thinking something's about to happen. I kept looking at my phone like I was expecting some, I don't want to say message from the president, but you get the point. I kept thinking, man, I'm about to find out something really amazing. I'm about to hear something I've been waiting for. That kind of really anticipatory energy of, oh my God, what's about to happen? So that's happening because the energy is unknown, but in the unknown, it's beautiful because the energy is so much more malleable, meaning that you can take it and do anything you want with it. So today on my walk, I was walking the majority of the city with my eyes closed. I know the roads and where the holes are and all of that, kind of like the back of my hand. Also, it was really, really early, so nobody was really out, and I can hear cars 4 blocks away. So most of the time, I'm pretty safe doing it. Um, but walking with my eyes closed is what today taught me that the reason this energy feels so shaky and so unknown is because it's so malleable. So, however you do it, however you get into a relaxed state or relaxed form, allow your body and your mind to relax, or allow yourself to lose all your thoughts, close your eyes, and feel the malleability of this energy and tell yourself what you want to do with this energy. Our body runs on a 3% DNA capacity, so they say. I don't believe we're running at that right now. I believe we're running probably more at 10 to 12%, maybe more. I didn't look at it. I should have thought to do. But anyway, that other 90%, whatever is not turned on. So if you have 10, 12, 15% turned on, your 80, your 90% that is not turned on, that science, that biology calls junk DNA, couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm pretty sure that you guys know that. But that 80, 85, 90% of your DNA that's not yet turned on is the motor for everything else that's running that is already turned on. So here's my suggestion. And you can do this any way you would like to, but just talk to your body. My body is a human holographic computer system. I am the programmer of my body. I am now going in to my DNA panel and I'm going to do A, B, C, whatever it is that you want to do. Turn it on, turn it up, turn up your healing, whatever it is that you want to do. So we have the part that's turned on, right? That's moving. And then we have the parts that are not turned on, that science calls junk DNA, that is pushing the motion for everything that's already turned on. You can tell your body at any time what you would like it to do. I have become the human experiment of myself, probably for, well, all my life, but most specifically the last 10 years. In the last 2 years, my kitchen has become a scientific lab and not really so much of a place where I cook anymore. I am experimenting with my words, what I'm telling my body to do. I am experimenting with food and all of these things for maximum proficiency. And one thing that I want to tell you that has really, really helped me in the last couple of days, 3355. I have been telling myself this. I close my eyes and I tell myself, thank you, thank you, thank you, my beautiful body, for you are the light and the fire that is the purification of every cell in my body. So, to help you with your healing process, or to speed up your healing process, or to engage you with your healing process to begin with, you can, and you don't need to use my words, but essentially what you're telling your DNA and your body to do is turn on the healing machine. Turn on the purification. I am the light and the fire of purification in every cell of my body. Now, I do want to give you a small a bit of a warning with this. After I did that, I ended up going to bed 3 hours earlier than normal. I was almost asleep by 7 o'clock. But when you turn that on, note that is a really, really, really systemic change for you. Okay, so system wide change for your body. It's going to use up more energy. And I've only been doing this for a couple days, so I can't fully explain it. But I just want to tell you, you may feel tired. The places where you're trying to heal, you may feel exasperatingly worse. And I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? And, all this other stuff. But then a couple hours into it, I realized, oh, did I think I wasn't going to be tired or go through any kind of like assimilated healing sped up process? When I did this, my body changed how it was processing, how it was healing, and how it was purifying. So it took a lot of energy. And so that drained me a little bit, and I ended up sleeping more than I normally would. So I just want to give you a little heads up when you go into your DNA, when you tell it what to do, when you commence your body or reset the command of your body to start the purification process in every cell of your body, you can experience some sleepiness, some soreness, just some overall kind of lethargy. I just realized for me what was going on. I'm standing in the kitchen at 6:30 and I'm thinking, oh my God, can I go to bed now? It's at 6:30. And then I just realized, I'm going to have to let my body tell me what it needs to do. That's the whole point of me turning the DNA on and going through the DNA panel and switching the reset button for purification, right? And then I was like, oh, yeah, so I just need more rest. It's a really, really big change. So I wanted to share that with you. If that's something that you're wanting to do, your DNA panel, you are a holographic computer system. The computer is not outside of you where you can see it, though sometimes I imagine it that way because it helps me know how to work it or work the motherboard. But I wanted to let you know, since you are that, you can program yourself. And I know you guys know that, but talk to your body, tell your body what you want to do. And we are becoming more and more and more proficient at doing this. And so we can create anything we want to create, again, by our imagination, our intuition, and never be afraid to take action in any direction as long as it's in the direction of your imagination and your intuition. When you take that initial step to action, even if you're totally unsure in this mutable, unstable energy, how that's going to go, it doesn't matter, because all the energy of the universe, all the energy outside of your body recognizes when you put yourself out and take action into a direction, it will give you more momentum to go into that beautiful direction that you choose. I want to tell you guys that my last video was 23 minutes and 45 seconds after all of that discussion about numerology and the moon and all of those amazing, I mean, the whole video is about numerology, right? And it ended up being 2, 3, 4, 5. I was just like, that is such an amazing synchronicity, right? And then 2 days later, I noticed when I went back into my YouTube feed that it has been changed to 24 minutes and 1 second or something, or 2 seconds. So that they've done that a couple times. It's really weird. Whenever I get a super synchronistic time on my video, it's always altered within 48 hours. So I don't know what's going on, but that's not part of my creation. Keep yourselves hydrated, keep yourselves calm, and remember right now there are some things out there that are really super, super, super exciting to a very large group of us that have been waiting what seems like lifetime after lifetime for these amazing changes that are starting to happen now. But remember, to other people, they can be really really scary changes. So be cognizant of how you're treating people. and just be joyous. And, we can smile and grin ear to ear and know that this fantastical things are really starting to change, to come around for the betterment of humanity. And right now, when the energy is so unstable, you are much better off talking about that to other people that understand the instability, the ever changing energy, and the need to purify not only our body, but this planet. So it will make it easier and be less resistant to you and other people if you are saving those excited conversations about what looks like the implosion of the apocalyptic biblical end times to some people. Okay, so if anyone needs to talk about that, I'm here. The last thing I want to say is this is such an important thing right now with ending cycles, and I kind of ask spirit, what is, what's one of the things you want to talk about? I get the 10 of swords. That's about ending cycles. With that, sometimes people are really, really, really know exactly what they need to cut out. They're just having a hard time doing it. But if you're not sure, I am now going to be offering a reading, and I think I'm going to do like a special price or something, $50 for a limited time, because I know there's a ton of people. And the reason I know is a lot of the readings I've been doing in the last 2 weeks, especially, have all been talking about what specifically did you come here to do? And I don't mean like as a job, but what have you done so many times in your last life that's really comfortable for you? And when we come in this time, we're tempted to do, oh, I'll just fall back into that. It's super, super easy. So if you're one of those people that wants to know, okay, here's the set of easy things that I did repeatedly, lifetime after lifetime, and now, like, what is your lesson? So people say that is karma. This higher energy really is not about karma unless you're staying really low vibe into that 3D thing. Right now, it's about, there's a thing that's super easy for me. There's a thing that is not super easy for me. And the thing that is not super easy for me is usually the reason I came here. It brings a lot more personal growth, a lot more personal healing, a lot more healing to the world. So we just look at what you have done over and over again in the past, where you're comfortable. And just because it's something you're uncomfortable with, like what you came here to do, doesn't mean you want to do it. Okay, because if you would have talked to me anytime during grade school, during middle school, during high school, the teacher would look at people like, okay, I'm going to call on you. I'm going to call on you. And I'd be like, oh my God, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Don't. I couldn't even talk in front of a class full of people. I couldn't do it. So if you had asked me at any time, for the first 40 years of my life about public speaking or even speaking in front of a camera, I would have been like, oh my God, no way. Are you freaking crazy? There's no way I'd ever do that. So I love doing it, but it's my challenge to do it too. And that's where the most growth is for me in my direction. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you can message me through Facebook. You can message me here on this video, or if you want to do that as well. And when I get done, I will put a link in the description box below on how the readings work, which is just kind of vague. But that's the thing that I think, looking at the readings and talking to people, I feel like right now that's what the most people need assistance with that. And the cool thing about that is not only can we look at this is what's easy and this is what's challenging, this is where my growth is, we can also look at individually for you, what is the challenge to that growth? Like for me, it was my shyness. So we will look at what you came here to do. What is your challenge for that? What is the base frequency energy of that situation, and how you can work with that, and what will come out of you working with that energy to the best of your ability and following your guidance. Thank you, as always, for being here. I'm starting to melt. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.